Welcome to the Life Curation Podcast. I'm your host, Andrina Tisi. Together, we will explore thoughts, inspirations, and conversations that feed our soul, spark the mind, and nourish the body. Thank you so much for being here to learn and grow, and for walking this journey called life with me. Hi there, welcome back, welcome for the first time, maybe. Thank you so much for being here to another episode of the Life Curation Podcast. And today is another solo episode. And as the title says, it's me sharing my thoughts, me sharing my processes, and just taking you into a little bit of, my thoughts, my emotions, and what's been cooking on my end. And one of the theme is growth, and it's polarity. And they both, for me, go very much hand in hand. And I've experienced that in the last few months, very much so. So being on the island has challenged me, has filled my heart and opened my mind, and I've learned so much within the polarities. And what are polarities? They are opposites. So black and white is a polarity, yin and yang, left and right, female and male, anima and animus, and sun and moon, day and night. These are all opposites. And as you can sense into it already, one doesn't exist with the other. And sometimes we experience the extremes maybe more, and other times more subtle. And I do think that the last few years, the polarities have come out more stronger. And I say coming out because I believe that they were there already, but maybe not as obvious. And I actually think it's a good thing when they show up. It may not be comfortable and it may not be easy, but it is an opportunity for growth, for transformation, and for healing. And we can take that all on a very individual, personal level, and we can look at that from a collective level, right? So we can experience this polarity from the outside, and we can experience it on the inside. And as I will share throughout this episode, is that it's, again, not one or the other. Like for me personally, whatever happens in the outside, then it's also a process on the inside. And depending what is happening for me on the inside, I can deal or handle or face, whatever word you want to use or I want to use. I think you understand what I mean. I can then face what's happening on the outside differently. So, for example, I've learned so much in the last few months because so many things were new. So many things I learned about land and nature and building and so many things that I've never thought I would, right? And that is opening my horizon. Or maybe expanding is the better word than opening. And the same if, we look at political situations or just different opinions, different point of views. We may get challenged. But again, maybe we're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. If we can, right? That's, of course, the ideal situation. Sometimes we cannot. For whatever reason, we're not ready for another opinion or for a different point of view. Because maybe we need the safety. And the safety is in, I'm going to call it bubble. The safety is also with the like-minded people. And again, there is this balance, like for me, there's this balance of staying informed, what's going on, for example, politically. Also staying informed with different sources and different opinions. And then knowing when I need to stop and draw the energy back towards me to not get sucked into a depressive state. And I don't find it easy at all, but I try. But I actually didn't want to talk about politics. I mean, it's part of our life. But anyway, coming back to the polarity, what I experienced on the island, yes, I'm back in Zurich, by the way. So that's what I experienced and will experience again in the future. Is so much beauty, most amazing nature, sunrises, sunsets, the most incredible night sky with stars. I mean, I cannot even describe it. There is so much stillness where we live and such a quietness. And then over the last month, there was so much destruction. And it really wasn't easy for me. It was loud. It was messy. It was full on with a digger, with chainsaw, you name it. And I constantly had to remind myself that it's a process. And I had to remind myself that it gets messy first. And I remember when I was actually packing for the island and, cleaning up my apartment for my renters. Oh my God, it was so messy. And then order came. So room and space are being created right now on our land. And, it also reminds me of my work. It's like we cannot shove the emotions under the quote-unquote table, if we don't give our fears, our anger, our insecurity attention and space, it's not that they're just going to go away. They will remain, and they will be stored in our body and in our psyche. And they'll plop up at one point. And same with the land right now. How can I plant trees and bushes and food if I don't have the space for it? Because the old and the sick are maybe taking up space and energy for the new. Or maybe a tree is trying to heal itself and using a lot of energy for it. But if I give the tree a little bit of help with trimming down branches that are maybe too heavy or too sick, it can use its energy and its strength for the other ones and get healthy again. So I have to trust the process, that that's part of it, that it's part of life, that it's a circle of life. Right? Sa, ta, na, ma. And then if all of this is happening on the outside, again, it's really interesting what's happening for me on the inside. And knowing that I need that processing time. And that also brings me to another aspect of polarity, and that is people. Every person, every human being is different. And we're all going through different aspects of our growth, of our healing, of life. And we also deal and process things differently, right? And then to honor that, and to honor that my way is different than somebody else's. And we have really manifested the best, I'm going to call it crew, on our land that is now still there while we're back here. And there is also polarity right within the crew. And on one point, I really, really noticed the yin and the yang, the male and the female. And it's so nice to watch the quality of both. And I can say that now, while I was in it, it wasn't so easy for me. Again, it was such a big process to stepping into my strength. And as we know, we all have that yin and that yang, that male and that female within us. Like I said before, there was a lot of this strong, like full-on energy. That was very young energy. It was strong. It was straightforward. It's like going in, determination. And I noticed that I can and I need to bring in the yin energy, a little bit of that feminine energy. And I want to. And allowing to take up that space. And to showing up with my emotions, with saying, guys, I need time. I need time to process. I need time to reflect. I need time to think. And they're amazing. I have this image of myself with these three men standing on our land in the middle of like rubbles and diggers and everything. And they're amazing. And they see me and they hear me. And that's even more amazing. And to stand in the polarity of not knowing, saying, guys, I have no effing idea what I have to do, because it's the first time I'm having a project like that. And stepping into leadership, into project planning, into land ownership, and embracing both. Also saying, I don't know, what do you think? Like relying on the expertise and the experience of others. And then, of course, at the same time, still stepping into, okay, I'm making this decision because it's my decision, it's my responsibility. And feeling it all. And that can be exhausting. And so inspiring. And such a boot camp of personal growth. And the cool thing is that we said our place is a place to grow. And it's a place to grow for us as individuals, as a couple. It's a place to grow, of course, for nature. It's a place to grow for everybody and anybody involved. For people who come to visit, who step on the land. It's a place to grow. And growth never ends. It never ends. And nor shouldn't it, right? Sometimes we want a certain process to be done and over with. And then when we think we figured it out, here we go again, right? Maybe it looks a little bit different. And we've come a certain way. A lot of times we've come a long way already. But maybe there is still something that needs to be looked at. And sometimes it's soft and gentle. And sometimes it's rough and edgy. And what has really helped me when I feel these big opposites, and these big opposites is polarity, that's why I'm doing this episode, I have felt it more, right, as you can tell, over the last few months. And I'm really embracing it and I'm loving it so much. But I also really want to be authentic and share that it's not just pink clouds and rainbows. And what has really helped me is to stay anchored and to keep connecting to my center. And that's where my practice comes in, and my practices. And my physical practice has never been as strong and steady as in the last 4 months. And with strong, I don't necessarily mean a six-pack. Could be for somebody. but it's helped me to stay connected to my body, and it helped me stay grounded and rooted more. Not saying that I've always worked grounded and rooted, but it helped me. And one of my dear, dear, dear teacher and forever inspiration, Gloria Latham, says, strong body, strong mind, strong body. So find what's anchoring you. Play with it. Experiment with it. Connect with it. Cherish it. And within this growth that we experience, there's resilience. And resilience for me is a super fascinating topic. It's this bounce back thing. And I have a big growth and resilience experience with our water system. I've shared a little bit about it on social media, but water is so sacred on where we are, because it could rain today for 10 minutes and then maybe not rain again for 6 months. So we have our water sources, but they're sacred for the land, for us, and everybody and everything. So one morning I woke up and I noticed that our water tanks are empty. That was a stressful moment. It was a stressful day. It was a very emotional day. And I learned so much. And I learned that there will be answers. The answers may not come in the next 10 minutes, but there will be answers. And to sit in the unknowing and give it time that the answer can come. And that there are people here to help. I'm going to do a little bit of another episode on that. But the feeling of not being alone, that was a confirmation and a learning in this situation, especially also being new in our neighborhood and in our community on the island. And I found solutions, I got help, and I got answers. And then 3 days later, same, tanks empty. And it was so cool and so astonishing to witness and watch a difference within myself. I was calm and I was grounded, and I had the knowledge that it's going to be okay. I had the embodied experience from 3 days earlier that there will be solutions and there will be answers. And I was able to acquire knowledge from the outside and from the inside. And just by going pregnant with the problem, I think I did something completely different. And my system, my brain, my mind was looking for solution, and they popped up, ideas popped up. Oh, or maybe it's that. Oh, why don't you check on that? And that was so cool. And I am and I was so proud of myself in this entire process of the water system. And people who are and were involved know that water system means huge personal growth for Andrina. And I figured it out, and I learned so much in the process about the water system, about the land, and about myself. And that felt really empowering. And you know how it goes, knowledge is power. And I kind of expanded on that and think self-knowledge is empowerment. So, after 4 months of amazingness on the island, of lots of polarity, of lots of growth, of lots of creation, co-creation, learning, and so many things. I'm back in Zurich, and I wasn't ready to come back. So I extended my stay, and then I was ready. And that was also really nice to be able to do that. Now back in the city, I really enjoy the luxury. I really love the simplicity of the life on the island. I also love not just wearing crummy clothes for the garden, but wearing dresses. I've been wearing dresses for the last few days. And water pressure in my shower. And I miss being on the land, but I also love being here in the city. So it's both and, sowohl als auch. And feel hugely privileged and grateful that I can live and embrace those two polarities. So, thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts, my processes on all of it. And I'm sure some of the things I forgot that I wanted to share, but also that's okay. I encourage you to think and feel and reflect on where in your life can you embrace those opposites? And where are you fighting it? Where can you open yourself up to the polarity? Maybe it's a different point of view. Maybe it's a polarity within you that are challenges for you, that you think they should not be there. So maybe take out your journal or talk with a friend about it, or maybe just reflect on it for yourself. Thank you for allowing me to reflect with you and to share my thoughts. And as always, if you have any questions, any inputs, I'm super happy to hear from you. Much love. Talk soon.